that everybody has been waiting for. This is my guide on the slaughtering strike. Granted, there might be better players that have some takes, and of course I invite that as much as possible because I want this guide to be as accurate as possible. So, if you have a better take or if I said something correctly, please feel free to say so in the comments, and I will put a disclaimer and or I will actually adjust it from there. However, this guide is made solely on my knowledge and on my calculations, so it's still not perfect, but what is available on the information to me through gameplay and on the internet, this is the conclusions I have been able to arrive while using Michael Myers after the patch. What do we know about Slaughtering Strike is the following: that minimum amount of time to begin charging Slaughtering Strike is 25% of the maximum charge time. Charge cancellation cooldown is 1 second. Slaughtering Strike duration is from 0.5 seconds to 1.5 seconds based on charge time. To fill the Slaughtering Strike charge meter, the time it takes about 1.25 seconds. Slaughtering Strike recharge time is of 4 seconds. The camera pitch recenter time is of 0.3 seconds. The strafe movement multiplier is of 0.25. The turn rate limit is 160 to the left and to the right. And breakable angle tolerance is 31 degrees, with a breakable hitting time of 81 seconds and breakable posted time of 2.1 seconds. Minimum amount of time to begin charging Slaughtering Strike is 25% of the maximum charge time. So this, you can see it is the exact moment where the knife goes up and you see the charging bar start right in this moment. This animation takes about 0.28 seconds, and if you were to try to press the button before this animation plays, you wouldn't be able to actually get a hit, but actually you would be stuck until you get 0.5 seconds for this animation to actually be played on the SS. So with a little of muscle memory, as soon as you see the bar and the knife coming up, that is the moment that you know you can strike, and safely doing so. Now, because the cooldown is 1 second, that doesn't mean that the cancel is. You can use the cancel to trick your opponent into try to 360 you. That is a very smart move, especially if you're in the open and you know they are trying to juke your attack. So basically, in this moment, you can do whatever you want. You can attack, you can restart, of course, charging your Slaughtering Strike again, or you can simply regain your speed of 4.6 meters per second, which is totally different to the 3.22 speed per second that actually this Slaughtering Strike possesses by base. But with this tip, if you try to just cancel your attack, you put them in a position that is actually favorable to you while you back walk a little bit, trying to understand their movement and try to follow them and not be auto-aimed by behavior, especially if you're using the controller. This is a little bit more forgiving if you're using mouse and keyboard. As we can see, the duration of Slaughtering Strike is 1.5 seconds, and its charge time is 1.125 seconds. But this also means the Slaughtering Strike is actually dependent on time. Speed affects the distance traveled during this time, and the more speed this attack has, the more distance it can be achieved during this same motion. Projections and all of comparisons will be done at shack, because the shack walls are about 10 meters per each. So with this, we could basically saw, as it is just now, that our Slaughtering Strike goes a little bit further than the wall of shack. So that also means that basically it's about 11.25 meters for the dash distance, plus the charge distance, which is multiplied for 1.5, is 3.62, for a total travel distance of 14.87. That is the maximum distance that this attack can travel for the maximum smallest input and the maximum distance. So, as we said, basically this distance can be affected by speed and also add-ons. We will see the add-ons first and how they interact with this attack. First, let's see the most powerful one, technically speaking. It's glass. We have a charge distance a little bit extended for 10% and increases the speed, the movement speed of Slaughtering Strike of 5%. This means that it can be stacked and can be added also to other perks with speed. But the glass by itself also gives us a small boost in distance, which will be about 0.56 meters compared to the 11.25 base. The charge distance will be increased of 0.41, and this will give us a total of 4.3 meters, while instead the total travel will be 15.84 for a difference with the base of plus 0.97 meters. And if you consider that you get this with a very small extra compared to the base, then you start to understand the immediate value of that extra meter that you get in total by using this add-on. Instead, while you using the other add-on, the mirror shard, you might be compelled to think this is better because of the higher trade and reward of the charging and the dash itself, as we are increasing the dash of 0.25 seconds. That would give us basically total travel of 17.96 meters, which compared to the base is longer by 3.9 meters plus, which is a total dash of 13.13 meters, as you just saw, which is way longer, let's say, on some loops as opposed to the base. But the trade-off is immense. That minus 25% of charging speed will allow the survivor to run to a pallet and or a window more swiftly than you could ever imagine. This is because your charge distance got significantly longer. And since we know that the survivor can run 4 meters per second, that means the survivor, since it has more time to run while you're charging, it has now moved to a safe location. So, for the total time, the add-ons gives us, for the charging time, 2.75 seconds of the glass and 3.25 seconds of the shard. The survivor runs in this time about 11 meters against 13 meters. The SS total time is 15.84 meters, as we said, for the glass, and as for the shard is 17.95. And how much will the survivor get? 2 meters. And how about us? Well, it's gonna be 0.1 meters for the shard. So, the risk is the survivor that flees to safety. While with the glass, we don't have to worry because the speed is helping us, increasing the distance anyways, basically ends near the window. But instead, with the shard, we have a high chance that since we have that plus half of a second, they can vault or juke closer to a pallet. And that makes it very difficult between loops. With its longer range, camping pallet and actually working around bigger loops can be beneficial using shard, but as we are painfully aware, most survivors are not gonna be so foolish enough to stay on the other side of our pallets. So basically, as much as I would like to give the mirror shard an actual use, more than often the commitment that you put inside the shard is outshined completely from the glass, and it's not worth the add-on slot at all, in my opinion. You can run both of them, sure, but in that case, having another add-on with another effect, since they're available right now, or just, feed perk on top of shard to have much quicker and reactive maximum advantage over the possibility to give 2 meters of running to the survivor. So Those are things to keep in consideration while you're playing killer, and can be game changer. These are the differences. Just to be fair, I also want to put the changing for the speeds that these two add-ons can have, and the distances that they can show, as you can see now on the screen. I talked about the Slaughtering Strike stats. These are pretty much my conclusions. In the next part, we will talk about techs, and we will talk about add-ons and how they interact with each other, and how we should actually play some loops. And if you want to give me a hand during this guide, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know what should I put in the next part of this guide for Michael Myers. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I sure did. It's always good to bring some knowledge to the community, no matter how small it is. As always, have a nice day.